Good morning, gentlemen.
What's
We
up,
got
bro?
the whole crew in here today.
What's up? Sorry it's so dark, but like it's really too ugly of a view if I switch, you know, it's like the siding has a lot of dead bugs on it. So I think if we just look at the beautiful clouds in the background, so close to Canada, so close to you, Tinfoil.
Yeah, I seen the bridge picture, and I felt like I was just on the other side of that bridge. Uh, but speaking of cool views, I mean, I just got in two awesome physicals. I'm gonna start with my cool J-Kai.
Oh, that thing's crazy.
This thing it's like, remember those old holographic cards you used to look
Yeah.
at? Yeah, so it's like that, and it is of size, obviously.
Yeah,
And then
that's an A+ piece right there.
yeah, incredible. And I had just had my Egg Emporium box come in. These are just insane. The quality of the little velvet box thing that it comes in. Uh, you get a nice little hand painted or a hand carved wood stand. Uh, a cool little egg holder bag. The egg is insane though. I was even showing my mom and she was just like, "Wow, this is something else." The details. You got one of these too, Voodoo, right?
Yeah, I got the NBA one, the greats. It's Michael Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe on it.
Right,
So good.
right.
So did
I
you
just seen their
see?
potluck one they just had.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
so
crazy.
they're making three.
Oh, is that what
And
it's going
they're going to auction two and then give one to the team, which I'll of course hold for safekeeping for us.
in the vault? Yeah, this is I just unbelievable quality. I can't say enough about the Egg Emporium team. And I mean, when they first started minting, Phantom was what 320, 350, and now Phantom at 25 cents. Like, I don't know if there's a better NFT for value.
Yeah, it's crazy. Cause I mean, I saw Voodoo's in person. I mean, it's the details unreal.
Yeah,
So I feel like when I'm looking at it, I'm like, this has to somehow be like screen printed on here. Like this has to be can't be hand done, but it is hand done. Like when they show the progress pics and you're watching them, it's unbelievable. And for anyone who hears any background noise, yes, I did pick the most quiet place in my in-laws' house, which is their deck, to do this. And yes, 1 second before the show started, the neighbor started to mow their lawn. So uh, production value is a 10 on my end today.
It's perfect. We wouldn't have it any other way.
So, gents, I know we have a ton of alpha to get into, but I got a
Yes.
couple questions I wanted to kick around with you guys just for some talk. Uh, we've obviously been seeing this interesting phase going on in the AVAX community with NFTs. We've entered this like free mint meta, kind of the 100 piece, like the limited collection meta. Uh, I felt like Phantom has already been and gone through this phase. Uh, it feels like Phantom is more of an evolved ecosystem in terms of NFTs. Uh, I just kind of want to know your guys' thoughts on this whole free mint meta and the whole limited supply. Does it last long? Is this what the chain's going to be? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'll share first since they stopped mowing for a second. I think, yeah, it's interesting. I think that AVAX has gone through a different life cycle with NFTs than Phantom because I feel like it started with DeFi NFTs. And I feel like for big collections, that the DeFi narrative, especially when the bull market resumes and people, are aping into any, crappy coin, if you will, then I think that DeFi NFT narrative will still be strong there because that's what people know and that's what they like. And um, but I do think with the one of one artists, especially with like Tap Tap Kaboom, I think, and what happened with the Trader Joe collections and just like booming in value, I felt like every project just wanted that same boom. Um, and so I guess I don't know if Phantom's more evolved, but maybe it's just evolved differently. I think Phantom started with just a few 100-piece collections and then a couple of generatives. And so, you kind of have people take both those approaches, and like 100-piece collection is just kind of like what every one-on-one artist does. Um, so I don't know that those will lose value. I think that AVAX will keep doing 100-piece collections. I think on Fantom, the one-on-one artists will keep doing that. But I think these like 100-piece generatives or semi-generatives are a new big value proposition. Um, I do think that if there's a team behind it, it's not just like hey, we promise nothing, we give nothing, and that's just people chasing the next pump. I think there's big potential there, like you're seeing with the Doodle Llamas, like you're seeing with the Swole Chads, and then a lot of non-potluck projects. And then I just fell in love with those Doodle Llamas the other day, and this knowing this narrative, I'm like, man, there's 100 of these on AVAX, only 400 on Fantom, but they're not traversable. So Fantom can do okay, but AVAX you could think could do crazy well. And when I started, this was like 3 days ago or something, buying them. The floor was less than one AVAX. Now the floor is at 5. It's 6 purchases away from a 10 AVAX floor.
So I want to touch on this before you get too far, because I think it's key that you mention that there has to be something behind it. Because for me, like, we've seen these 100-piece generatives a bunch, like basically the first sets of pieces kind of coming out on Fantom in kind of phase 2 of Fantom NFTs was everything was a 100-piece generative collection. And the idea was a really tight supply. What ended up happening to all those projects in the long term, looking back on them now, is it stayed an echo chamber because that's all the team did. And there was that weird expectation of like, oh, there's no roadmap to this. It's just a scarce supply piece. And I've noticed that even like some of the Ava Labs like members have kind of pushed through this narrative of just cool art, no roadmap, no expectations, like this is the way to go. And I'm not sure if I agree with that, because I feel like that we've seen. Now, when you bring up the idea of having a big team behind it that is continuously trying to add value to it,
Yeah,
that's where I do agree with you.
I think it's interesting because we were Voodoo and I were talking about this on a Twitter space, but to me, the way I look at it is exactly kind of that whole idea of, is there a team behind it? Because I think the fear for me that I have with like, a small collection is, where's the community at if there's not many holders, right? The max there can be is 100 holders. So when I see, like teams putting out that have bigger collections, but then also have, hey, we're now going to put out this 100-piece collection, it's exclusive, I know they're going to be building for the long term, all of those things. Then to me, I feel strongly about the 100-piece collections, because it's like with the Swole Chads, right? Like Fantom Punks, obviously, I'm biased because it's a Potluck Labs project, but I know we're not going anywhere. So I know there will always be value brought to that 100-piece collection. But when it's simply like, I don't know who the team is behind it other than this is just this one, 100-piece collection, it could go either way. It could become phenomenally successful, last for a really long time, or it could pump for a brief period of time, but then kind of fizzle out because there's not a community really rallying behind it if it's its own standalone. So that's always my like, it can go up in value really quick, or it could, fizzle out because there's not a community behind it.
That is what it feels like. It feels like a lot if you don't really know the team behind it, or there isn't really a team behind it, it's like a fun couple days where you can ride out an incredible wave and make a ton of money in that couple days. But anything longer than that couple days and that echo chamber just is exactly that, where you're not reaching out to anybody. The hype wave's over and the floors just start kind of falling to zero. My other question is, and this has been popping up a lot, is the free mint meta beneficial to the ecosystem? Is there a con to it? I've been seeing this debate pop up a lot in the AVAX ecosystem. I think it's really interesting. A lot of people have been saying that like it's good for the short term and like just doesn't really do anything for the long term. And I think that's kind of the way that I take it. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I know. I feel like people need to hear the mowing, so let me talk here. So on the free mints, it's a very similar thing to me. I think that if you're playing the free mint game that says where they pop up a Twitter and it says no promises, no roadmap, whatever, then you're if you don't mint, like if you're not one of the lucky ones who mints, then I think for everyone else it's a dangerous game. Because it's just like a DeFi Ponzi. If there's nothing behind it, the only value is what the community thinks, that there is. And so you can look at things like the goblins on ETH, and you can say, well, that was a free mint. They didn't really promise anything. No, but you know what? They keep building on it, and they keep bringing things. And so it wasn't just, hey, maybe there's no promises, but we are going to build something with this. And I think that's the difference. You don't have to promise a roadmap,
Yeah.
but also you could be there for the community. So also, my opinion, in the way we've used free mints in the past, we've used free mints to benefit holders of previous collections. So benefit our current base while also expanding into new bases. So like if we go to ETH and we do a free mint, yes, we want some whitelists or some airdrops for current holders to benefit them with a new ecosystem, new potential value. But we want to bring in an ETH crowd. Like we want to bring in new users because that benefits everybody. And so I think that this current meta of on AVAX especially, but Fantom's copying it. Fantom's just doing it wrong. They're like doing 5,000 pieces and 2,000 piece free mints to like only Fantom people. So then they turn around, don't have much value. So it's not that the art's bad or anything. It's just the strategy I don't think fits this meta. But this meta narrative of like, okay, let's just create a collection in one day and let's put it out there. Let's use an AI generator and put one image in and then spit out different words and call it a collection. Let's do like all these different derivatives of things. Some will make it, most won't. And the damage comes for all those people FOMOing in, not minting, but then FOMOing in at higher and higher prices only to get dumped on by the minters. But that's when you're buying something with no plan behind it, then that's the game you're playing. So I think there's ways to use free mints to go just simple answer. Yes, there's ways to use these things. So it builds your community. So it adds value to everyone. And there's also ways to use it to make a few people a lot of money and wreck everyone else. And obviously that's not good for the ecosystem.
Yeah, and the way I've like kind of seen it too is like if someone is let's say a new artist trying to get their name out there and build their holder base, and they were to launch a free mint, knowing that from there the free mint is the launch pad to maybe like a smaller, like a one of one collection or a small size generative. And then it's going to, and there's value, even maybe whitelist spots or whatever to the people who hold the free mint, things like that. To me, that there's only positives in that because you're building a community base around an artist that's, going to continue to build. Or like Voodoo was saying, if it's like, I already have a collection, I already have this, and I'm rewarding my current holders. And yeah, maybe I'll grab a couple in. I think that's good. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely the fear is no name team that no one's ever heard of just dropping something and people chasing the pump. So it's kind of like, I think it's there definitely good value there. But if people aren't careful, then it could end up being harmful.
Yeah, I do. I definitely agree. Like, I think it's been fun to watch actually how new artists attempt to come into the space. In the beginning, it was like, I'm just going to drop a full generative of 10K because that was what worked on ETH. And we quickly realized, okay, that's not going to work on Fantom. So then it was like, it went to these like really tiny collections where now it's like, I'm going to actually build out like a one of one 100-piece collection. Then you've seen other people try to bring value to another project. I think you're right, Plot. I think a free mint, like a smaller supply free mint, or maybe even a bigger, like a mid supply free mint, is kind of a good way to bring value and get your name out there originally. Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how it's fun to watch the different chains go through different evolutions and how it all plays out. But I do find it kind of wild that the Ava Labs guys, the way that they've been pushing the no team, no roadmap idea. I think just that's a huge benefit to us long term because that's not the play. That is absolutely not the play. No team, no roadmap. Uh, so I think, and I don't think it's going to take very long for that ideology to flip. And then I think when they realize, oh, there's big team with trying to do as much as possible, like I think it bodes well for us in the future.
So a really good example of how this could wreck you is not even on a new mint, but on an old mint that people revive, where the team is like rugged, the team's gone. So take the whales, um, basically a dead project, nothing's happened. They've had no value in 6 months or so or more. I think since last year, people said, and then a group of whoever decided, hey, let's pump the whales. Let's make the whales pump. So they all buy these whales. The floor price goes all the way up from like 0 essentially to 10 AVAX. Well, it's a big collection. So you might as well think of it as a free mint because people could pick them up for like nothing. Goes up to 10 AVAX, a coordinated pumping effort, like people being like, oh man, what's going on with the whales? What's up with the whales? But here's the thing, there was nothing up with the whales. There is nothing coming for the whales. And so within 5 days, the floor was back down to 1 AVAX or below. So that's the danger, right? The danger, but that's the danger in any crypto is that you're following people on Twitter who are saying things, but maybe jumping into a meme coin or whatever. But a lot of times they're using you as exit liquidity, and so that's the thing to look at, and that's why I love Campfire's deal. So you can look at if they've got a dot fire name, and if they're selling into what they're doing, or are they still holding a bag? Like it's okay to sell a few if it's your project or whatever, but like, what's this person doing? It's even like me. I had one. I listed it when the floor was like 500, a swole chad, and then I had it listed on NFT Key for 1,000, which was well above the floor. But I forgot I had listed on Campfire because they're both non-custodial for like 765. So mine sold earlier for 765, and I still have 4 of them. But I was a little upset about that because I know what's coming. We're not just talking about, oh yeah, let's pump the swole chads and there's nothing coming.
Mhm.
It's let's pump the swole chads and we just signed on the dotted line for a $12,000 commitment, which is over 7 times what the project even made in minting. And we signed on the dotted line for that for just one aspect of what's to come. And so, man, I can tweet all day with conviction. Also with the Doodle Llamas, when I started tweeting about it, there was no alpha to come. It was just, I love this collection. I see it's awesome. Well, then I started talking to the artist once it sold out and came up with some ideas on what we could do next in collaboration. And we still haven't announced that yet. I'm waiting for an image to be able to leak the alpha. But there's definitely alpha on the way with Potluck and the Doodle Llamas. And so, like, I'm not selling. I told people, man, I've got a few Doodle Llamas on AVAX and I got like 40. And now I have like 25 because I gave away a bunch on Phantom. But I'm buying them. I'm not just tweeting telling you to buy. I'm buying and I'm holding. And I'll tell anybody like on the Doodle Llama floor on AVAX, man, I'm not selling until 20 AVAX. And at 20, I might sell like one. I'm not going to sell them all, but like you got to take some profit somewhere. Um, but that's the game. Like I just want people. I don't want you to be like wary of what everyone tweets. I want you to ride into waves. Like if you catch a wave early, ride that thing because it's all about those momentum waves. And Tinfoil, I came up with this analogy. It's not like some deep analogy, but I think it works really well. And kind of, we were on a Spaces the other day when it came to me, but I want your opinion on this and your advice to people because we've been a part of so many projects who have seen waves come and waves go. And so thinking about the waves of momentum, I said you got to think of a NFT project like the waves coming into shore, where hopefully there's an initial wave that you ride in the first few days and everyone's hyped. And that's where the most volume is on secondaries, those day or two after mint. And then it recedes out and you find a baseline for the project. So if you think of Beans on Acid, it rode this wave and kind of receded out to around a 1 AVAX floor or a little bit under. And then something else, it was like 0.8, 0.7. And then more news came in over these new 300 piece 101 collection that you'll be able to burn some beans for, but it's very limited. So that news comes in, another wave comes, and the floor goes up 40, 50%. And then you know what? It's got, at some point it's going to ride back out, and then it just keeps going. And that's the same with Swole Chats. Like it got up to 25 AVAX, and then it got all the way back down to around 10, and then nothing new has happened yet. But now the wave has come back with, as we're getting closer to the Starlas, people are starting to see images. That wave rises again. Now it's back to the 25 AVAX floor. And will it go higher? I think when anticipation and FOMO gets there, to go higher. But the reason people need to understand this is you don't need, if you don't sell at the top of a wave, as long as you believe in the team, believe in the direction, understand that value is coming, you don't need to sell when it's down at the bottom. Like if you miss the wave, so GigaChads went up to 25 AVAX, they go back down to 10. Do you freak out and say, well, I better sell at 10? Or do you trust that, man, what's coming is big. I trust the wave will go back. I can hold. And that applies because I got the question about some of our old projects, like Potluck Pigs or like these different projects. It's like, all right, have you totally forgotten about them? And then there's tons of different waves. We've already done 4 generations on that project. You know, you had all these opportunities where the waves came where you could sell, but right now it's at a down point. And so you have a choice. Do I believe the team's going to provide value or not? And so I just think there's so many projects out there that I feel like the artists as well as the collectors see the prices going up in other projects around them, and they start to panic and feel like they need to do something, and you don't. Just keep working in your lane, keep building the next generation of what's to come, and the wave will come back for you.
Well, and that's where like people are getting into like legitimately charting NFTs, and like every time those waves happen, that's where it's important as a collector to be watching when the price goes down after a wave. Our wallets is the unique wallet growth happening? Because if unique wallet growth is happening at the same time as prices kind of falling, that is super beneficial because you know it's going to hit another wave where it runs up again, and that's another opportunity to sell into it. I mean, that's been my whole case with the Umans. This morning, I went back to looking it up. So, you know, we're about 2 weeks off of all of the New York City hype. There's maybe been 2 sales throughout this entire time. I think floor got back down to 0.3, which is basically a former peak from 3 months ago. We have fallen back down to 0.3, and if you look back at those floors now, unique wallets has grown again, and it's just thinner and thinner every time now. So I look at the same thing. I'm holding on to my strange pigs and my strange gods and my potluck pigs, because now you're seeing, if you go to the potluck pigs, the unique wallet growth has been massive. So all of a sudden, when there is a new wave of news or information that comes out, and now, you know, people are having to sell their only NFT of that collection, well, that becomes that's where you start to see prices go crazy.
Well, in like when you were, I mean, obviously you were talking about Uman on ETH, but I was even thinking like the ancestral Umans on Fantom, right? Because it was, it was probably 4 months ago. I can't remember when there was that last pump that it had. And I remember the floor being like around like 600 Fantom or something. I bought one at like 600 Fantom. It pumped up, and I sold the one that I bought for 600 because I sold it for like 1,200 or 1,250 Fantom. And then from there, I bought like the floor then like steadily rose up to like 800 and something. So then I bought like, with the money that, you know, the Fantom that I just sold on that one, I bought another one for like 800 and something. And then, but when I bought that one, the pump had kind of been coming back down. So now I was just, you know, it was just sitting there. So I was like, okay, well then the New York City, the NFT NYC that came, it pumped. Well, then I was able to sell the 800, the one that I bought for 800 in this next pump for like 1,200, 1,300. So once again, made, you know, a decent profit on it. And then even now, like the floor is 850 Fantom, which is like, you know, if you do the numbers on that, that's like what, 30% or higher than what it was a couple months ago when it was in the 600, when it was like 600 when I first bought one. So it is one of those things where it's like, sure, I could have lowered the floor and said, oh, I just need to offload this. And I'm sure somebody would have bought it and I could have taken a loss. or I waited 3 months or whatever it was, and then I was able to then, sell for a profit and get back in at a lower price. So it is just that conviction of, man, well, I know this is always going to be good. So why would I sell it for a loss? Let me just hold it for the next wave to come.
And on this, there's only two under 1,000 Fantom.
Exactly. That's what
So
exactly.
the floor is about to be 1,000 Fantom. And then again, you're at the point of unique wallets have grown. I don't even think Ancestrals has reached the point of once it gets to 1,500 holders, that's my mark, right? Like once you split the collection size, half of it are holders. To me, that's where prices start to get crazy. I'm always seeking that point, basically. If I can see price at a low and unique wallets has hit essentially half of the supply, that's when I want to be getting into stuff, because the next wave is going to get crazy. But this felt like a good set. You mentioned earlier about the swole chads, and we should get into some alpha.
Yeah.
Or do we want to end with all the alpha? Do we want to do our topics and then end with all the alpha, or do you want to do alpha?
No, I think we get into a little
Drop a
alpha
little
here.
now.
Let's do a little bit. So here's and I'll do a full type up of this for the Discord, but we're talking, I was thinking about this, and what we originally promised for the Swole Chad was this. We promised this for the roadmap. We said, hey, we're giving the sandbox land, so you're going to have Swole Beach being built. Every Swole Chad owner will get what is the name of the style of character?
Voxel.
A voxel NFT airdrop to them for the land to be able to use it. So they're already getting one free NFT there. That will also, those voxel characters will be able to be used in any metaverse that, depending on the chain they're on. So I actually figured out, just so y'all know, Slothtopia said to me, he goes, hey, to access Sandbox, you're going to need those voxel characters on Ethereum. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, well, we won't be able to use them in Slotopia because we're not on Ethereum. And then I was like, man, I'll figure it out. And then I was like, oh yeah, we just make those voxel characters omni-chain. So whatever network, 7 different networks right now with omni-chain, whatever network you want to take your character to go hang out in metaverses, you'll be able to. So you'll be able to take it to Slotopia, hang out in your condos. You'll be able to take it into Sandbox. Literally any network that will allow you to bring your avatars in, you'll be able to. And so there's a lot of options. So super excited. So that was the first bit of alpha that was already promised. Then with the Swole Starlas, we said we're going to do an ETH mint. We're going to do 1,500. So there's 5 times the Starlas as there are Swole Chads. And then with those, the next gen will be breeding, where you have to have both a Chad and a Starla to breed. Well, I didn't promise any Swole Chad holders a Starla. I said, like, it's a free mint. I'm not promising who gets whitelisted, what, or what. The only whitelist that we promised was if you had a Giga Chad, any Giga Chad, we get you early access to that to kind of just give, the previous gen some credit. But then we got to thinking about it, and, one, we don't want the mint to get botted on ETH. With a free mint, they get botted easily. 2, we want to be able to pay off the Sandbox land in full, like pay it off and then be able to pay for not just the Chads, but also the Starless to have their voxel characters. So there's extra expenses there. That's another probably $5,000 or so at least. So what we decided to do is we wanted to do something that increased the value for our previous holders and collectors, while also allowing the future of the project to be increased in value as well. So here's what we came up with. Instead of the Starless being a free mint on ETH, they're going to be a 0.03 ETH mint. 0.03 ETH. We're still going to do 1,500, but here's the big alpha. You might have wanted to get a Chad already, but we are going to give every Swole Chad holder 1 free Starla. So every Swole Chad holder and our Ultimate Pass holders are going to get a free Starla, which is pretty awesome. So that leaves us with about 1,150 or so to mint. Well, out of that, I've already worked out the formula. We'll post this all, but to be on the list to be able to mint early, you just have to have a Giga Chad or a Swole Chad or 2 platinum passes on either chain. So it can't be cross chain. We just can't do the computing. Like we gotta have, so you gotta have like 2 platinum passes on Phantom. We'll get you onto that whitelist on ETH, or 2 platinum passes on AVAX. Okay, so that's what you need. So that's going to allow our community, if they want, to have most of the spots for the mint. If they used them all, they're not going to. It's not going to happen. They'll probably use about half, and then the other half will probably be like fair game for public. So what this does is for swole chads, by having one swole chad, when we do the snapshot, which will likely be next Wednesday, you're going to guarantee yourself a voxel character. You're going to guarantee yourself a swole starla. You're going to guarantee yourself a swole baby if you hold them, because they'll be able to breed. Um, and I'm not sure if I'm missing anything, but you're guaranteeing yourself a lot. Also, extremely high value when other people have swole starlas and want to be able to breed. They're going to have to buy yours if you want to sell at any point. So very excited for that, but also excited for the Giga, the Giga Chads, that they're going to have some value in that can get you whitelisted. And it's cheaper right now to get a Giga Chad than it is to get 2 platinum passes. But it's pretty close. So if you got 1 platinum pass, go get yourself a second one on the same chain. Ensure that you're in there. We'll likely have the mint next Friday. Not this Friday. This Friday is Hey and Lee. It'd be the next Friday, in which we do the snapshot like 2 days early. But all that stuff will get posted. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. Very excited. The future for Swole Chads is very bright for the whole project. But yeah, very excited to see what was just a 1 AVAX mint, or a 50 or 55 Phantom, or 60 Phantom, 60 Phantom, 60 Phantom mint has turned into 1,000 Phantom plus floor. And I think it's going to go 2,000 plus. I mean, because the value going cross chain to ETH, Sandbox, I think the scope of this is pretty massive. And I can't thank Sarge from Phantom Punks enough for just being willing to just have fun with us, and just whatever, we just do phone calls and just make up crazy ideas. And it's been a lot of fun. So really excited to see where this project goes. And Sarge he's the freaking best, man.
Yeah, it's big for us to get over into the sandbox land, because that's kind of what I view as the corporatized metaverse. Snoop Dogg, everyone is building over there. Reasons that I'm bullish on Phantom Boy, Visionary Boy. I know he's doing a lot of building over there. That's a big aspect, because it's not like just our swole chads will be able to fuck around on that land. Like it involves the whole Potluck ecosystem to be over there. To Again, it's weird, because there's nobody out there that are kind of doing what we're doing right now. And I'm really excited to make this jump over to ETH, especially now, because I think the AVAX community has clued in really quickly to like, oh shit, let's pay attention to these guys. I think as we make that next jump over to Ethereum this Friday, that's the next big one for us. So let's get into, do you want to get into the Hey on Lee mint on Friday?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Obviously super excited. You can talk about kind of her success with Podtown and her one-to-one collections, just kind of a little bit about her as an artist. But um, I'm excited for all of our community to be able to go over to like the big leagues, if you will, of Ethereum. Where when I say the big leagues, it just means you got the biggest buyer base, you have the easiest access to the NFTs. You're on the biggest marketplaces, and with the Swole Starlos, with the Creamy Owl Mint, with the Bit Skull Society that we're going to be moving to ETH instead of Sol. There's so much potential for Potluck to get incredible traction, to double, triple our user base, which then once people discover how cheap our AVAX and Fantom NFTs are and how awesome the collections are and how much value there is there, I just see onboarding so many people into our like existing ecosystem of projects and into AVAX and into Fantom themselves. Because we want to be like the gateway drug for people into these ecosystems, and then they, don't stop with us, man. Go look at all the other amazing projects. Just let us introduce you to the ecosystem, and then go ham. And that's what we're really hoping happens.
Well, it's been amazing building this cross-chain relationship with the AVAX community. I try to talk to Illuminati Congo almost on a daily basis, just with his multi-chain approach, and like even asking him like, hey, is there anything like this going on chains where you're seeing like two communities from two separate chains kind of come together like this? And even a guy like that is like, there's not a chance. So I think that bringing that over to Ethereum, because we all did it. We all spent our time on Ethereum, and like gas just got too crazy. There was no real community behind things. Like we came to these chains for a reason. And then as soon as we got involved with these chains, like we got stuck. You just want to be here. So to kind of try to build what we've built, to now try to bring that over there, and like you said, just offer ourselves as the gateway drug for people.
Yeah, well, and I think it's powerful because it's like what you were tweeting about. I think it was yesterday or the day before, where it was like somebody tweeted, "Man, this is amazing. The team, for this Ethereum project is actually engaging on Twitter and having conversations with us and being active." And like for us, like we come from a standpoint of like, if a team isn't active, if they aren't communicating, then you should definitely be worried. And so to me, I think there's just massive, massive upside potential, because when we go over and we start to capture, the ETH crowd, and they start to see, man, they're doxxed, they're public facing, they're engaging and, active and doing all of these things, then what that's only going to do is exactly like we said, that's going to bring them over into the Discord. It's going to get them branching over. Then they're going to see how many amazing communities there are within AVAX and Fantom, and they're just going to get sucked in, because they're going to be like, man, like look at the quality of projects, look at the quality of teams that are building on Fantom, that are building on AVAX, that there's no way that they're not going to want to go, man, this is attractive, this is contagious, like I need to be a part of this. And but somebody has to go over there and kind of say, hey, let me show you what there is. And that's why I'm so excited and so bullish on it.
Well, it's funny because it's nerve-wracking as hell, and like it was so nerve-wracking making the jump to AVAX.
Yeah,
you get comfy on Fantom, and you just do what you do, and it's successful. But then you got to make this leap, and it's really nerve-wracking to make that leap. We're feeling these same jitters on making this leap to Ethereum, if not exponentially more. But when you step back and look at the whole ecosystem, I don't know of many projects on Fantom only minting on Fantom anymore.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy too is actually I was able to after the Twitter space me and Voodoo did, we ended up linking up with his Twitter handle's Good Mood Food. He lives super close, and we went and grabbed a beer, and it was really interesting because I was just chatting with him, and I was like, and he's like, man, I love Potluck. I love what you guys are doing. Full supporter. He's like, I'm launching a project, got a pretty big Discord. Like, we totally support you guys and are behind you. Like, we love this. And I asked him, I was like, man, well, that's awesome. Like, what was your introduction to Potluck? Like, what made you like support us? And he was like, man, I my very first Potluck mint was the Rat Pack. He's like, y'all came to AVAX. And I saw it, and I went on and minted one or two. Thought they looked really cool. Didn't really understand much about Potluck. Didn't understand the community, but minted a couple of those. And then that made me dive a little bit deeper. And the more I dove in, the more I fell in love with your community. So what's interesting is, I just like you said, I'm feeling the same jitters, because it's like, man, we know we could have a very successful mint if we just did omni-chain on AVAX, on Fantom, but we're kind of stepping into the unknown. But it's cool to then see, like right at the same time we're about to step into the unknown again, a very, very big supporter of us going, man, yeah, when y'all came to AVAX for the first time and that kind of captured me and brought me into the community, I was like, man, that's so huge. And that's exactly why we do it.
Well, let's jump into some of the details on how this mint is kind of going to work, because uh, we've had, obviously making the jump to Ethereum, we've had to do a ton of research on, mint structures, how other teams are doing mints, what is the market, minting out and stuff. Uh, we've taken notice that like we have something interesting here that hasn't really been built on other chains. So we've got an interesting idea with this mint. Voodoo, do you want to get into any of the details on how this mint's going to work?
Yeah, for sure. So we are doing a gated Discord channel, like where you have to own certain NFTs to get into it. That'll be the Discord channel where we drop the pre-sale mint link. And obviously it's possible that anyone in that channel could leak it to the public. I'm not sure like anyone has this massive following unless we get some influencer who would like it would make much of a difference if they leaked it on Twitter. But what we're going to do is give our community a chance to get the link, and we're going to disguise the contract name so like it will be a little bit harder to find for the public. We have a separate website because we've already shared the Creamow website, but we'll have a separate domain where you'll be able to mint from. So we're going to make it so on Friday, anybody who has any Potluck NFT, if you have a Potluck NFT, we want you to be able to mint. That's it. So you'll be able to access the channel in our Discord. It's like Creamow, like secret or early access channel. Also, if you have a Creamow early access pass NFT. So what we did, and this is credit to Tinfoil for doing the research, coming up with this idea. So we've got this NFT access pass, which is on Polygon. It's a really nice ticket. Hey Yun Lee designed it. Really, really cool pass. And so what we're doing is we're trying to get in touch with any Ethereum communities, whether they're just collectors themselves, DAOs, alpha groups, or just an NFT project that we're friends with and can connect with, and give them a certain amount of allocations. And then what we're doing, there's a little form they fill out. We'll airdrop them all those NFTs, and then they come in our Discord, and that NFT will allow them into that secret channel. The only head start we're giving is if you have a platinum pass or an ultimate pass, you're going to have a separate channel that only you can get into, where we'll drop the mint link 15 minutes before everybody else. So if you're like really nervous about this minting out or whatever, because it is a very cheap mint for Ethereum, you'll be able, if you just have a platinum pass or an ultimate pass, the snapshot's going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. UTC. But if you have one of those, you'll be able to access 15 minutes before the real pre-sale. And then that pre-sale, because we don't want there to be gas wars and stuff, the real pre-sale is going to last for 23 hours from 8 p.m. UTC on Friday till 7 p.m. UTC Saturday. And then the public sale will start at 7. And we started an hour before we were going to, because we don't want to overlap with the Gotham Apes party that's going to be going on in their Discord. So, but yeah, we'll have a big mint party on Friday for the early access, because literally anyone who owns a Potluck NFT will be able to get in that group. But that's the thing, we have over 5,000 holders now. There's only going to be about 5,400 of these available for public mint, or just for mint period, I mean. So, who knows what's going to happen. I'm really excited. We've been connected, and I've got a few different ETH Discords for different ETH projects that have already posted, 150 spots for their people. So we're excited to see what happens. At the end of the day, we have an accomplished artist who has sold out an ETH collection with Podtown, the Cyber Rabbies, sold out a massive Fantom collection, and the team, besides her art being great, the Podtown team is great. They've been innovative. They've done a lot. So she's been a part of something that's really special as the artist there. But then also her one-of-one collections do incredibly well. She sells through like Pinky Swears, Auction House. I think she's done FAC in the past, but Tomb Heads every week as well, and has an extremely loyal following on Fantom. And then if you look, she's also, She's not bad to look at. She's an incredible personality. She's incredibly talented in multiple walks of life. So I just think that having a doxed artist, if you just do the formula, is this ETH formula ever been done? A doxed artist who's been extremely successful on other chains, selling out multiple big collections, a doxed team that has over 5,000 holders, that's already on 3 different chains and has sold out over 30 projects, and now coming to ETH and like launching for the first time on ETH. Like, there's not a trust factor. You don't have to be like, man, I wonder if I could trust. Are they going to steal my money? Do I have to worry about this mint? So I think we add a lot to the table. I don't know if that means it's going to be wildly successful or not. I mean, at the end of the day, ETH is its own animal, but great artists, great team, great art. I think that's all we can do, you know?
Yeah, and our like the ideology behind this whole thing was that, you know, we we want to offer our community the first opportunity at this stuff. We have over 5,000 unique holders. Making this jump to ETH is big, right? Like, because the mint out is obviously, like, going back to your wave stuff, like mint out, it starts first big wave. So the idea that we have over 5,000 unique holders that we're going to offer this opportunity to, then we're giving out these Hanley passes, which are going to ETH communities, and it's like a way to bring people into our Discord without them even minting anything. And now they're already starting to get exposure to our Discord and our community just through the access pass. Yeah, the idea is to give our community the opportunity to get the biggest win out of all of this. I kind of looked at it the same way as when we made the jump over to AVAX. Like, I want Potluck Labs exposure in NFTs on all the chains. So, like, me as a, heavy in Fantom and AVAX NFTs, and I've got a, little collection on Ethereum. I want exposure to us on Ethereum. I think it's gonna be huge if our community, again, the Fantom and AVAX community, are all rocking these as PFPs, and people from Ethereum are like, wait, what is this project that is just, again, awesome art, awesome team, awesome artist, but then it's also like tapped into multiple chains, like influencers on Fantom, influencers on AVAX, people on Ethereum are all rocking the same PFPs. I think that just creates a massive wave, and then again just kind of changes the whole mentality of people on Ethereum. Because like you said, Plot, that tweet blew me away. The fact that the mindset on Ethereum, like there's a couple teams that are active and like talk to their people on Twitter, and the fact that people are like, oh, this is super bullish. Like, I'm really bullish on this team because they're active. It's like, how is that the mindset when there's just hundreds of millions of dollars being traded over there?
Yeah, it's wild.
Well, should we bang through our some topics quickly?
Yes,
Yeah,
and I
I
do want
think
to address one question really quick, because just so anybody listening, how much ETH for gas, which they just showed a thing. I mean, Voodoo shared it with me the other day, but I think it was like $2 or $3 in gas on ETH. Now, who knows what it will be on actual mint day, but it's been fairly cheap to mint recently.
yeah,
So
I would. I mean, just bring over double the money that you think you'll need, and then if gas is cheap, just mint double. You know, that's uh, that's what I would say. I mean, honestly, I operate by the rule of threes. Like, always, if you're going to mint something, try to mint at least 3 if you can afford it. If you can't, don't mint. Typically I'm like, hey, don't mint something if you believe in it. Just wait for projects that you really believe in that you can afford to mint 3 of, because then you can sell one quickly if there's a wave, and the price jumps real quick afterwards. Like, for instance, like, you know, a ton of our like Acid Cats or Astro Kids or whatever. It's just like, oh my gosh, these are jumping like crazy. You could sell one right away, make back your money. You could hold one for the medium term to ride that second wave, and you can hold one forever for like a moon bag for when big things happen in the future. And so then if you mint more than that, then you can just kind of play around, decide what levels you want to do that. But I like the rule of 3. So if I was going to mint 3 of these, I'd probably bring over like 0.15 ETH or something just to have more than enough for the gas. Um, but our gas prices will be lower than most because we don't have the whitelist, because we're doing the early access pass. So that carries on a big savings to the minters on how much it costs to interact with the contract. So hopefully that will help it be cheap. But yeah, I just minted something last night. It was super cheap, and the gas price cost me like $2.80. So, but I've also paid. I mean, I think with Galactic Gang, or one of those, the Apocalyptic Ape, something. I paid like $180 in gas to mint. So you just, I think it's not like that right now on ETH, and plus the price of ETH is way down, so that helps. But yeah, just overestimate what you think you'll need.
Yeah, yeah, gas should be okay as long as the other side doesn't decide, or Yuga doesn't decide to do a mint on the same day as us. As long as that
So
doesn't happen, we're good.
yeah, no, that's it. That's why we did a 24 or 23-hour pre-sale time, because if there happens to be something else crazy minting, you can kind of wait it out, hopefully. I think just time wise, let's skip like going through the numbered topics, and I just want to hit a couple things. You guys can add a couple things if you got it. We've got today at 7 p.m. UTC, Woven, our partners, Edge and his team. Woven has a project coming out. I want to trying to find the details for you guys. It was in a group chat earlier. Here we go. It's Kane's Komodos, and they're these cool little. I mean, they're called Komodos, but they look like little dinosaurs. Essentially, a really cool pixel style. It's only a 700 supply, and 50% of all the proceeds go to Bethany Children's Hospital, I believe.
Cool.
So it's a 40 Phantom mint, but really you're paying 20 Phantom for the NFT, and 20 Phantom is a donation to an amazing cause and or Children's Health, Bethany Children's Health. So very excited about that. It has a roadmap. There's HD Komodos next, and then there's different 64 by 64 Komodos after that. So there is a 3-part process to this. And if I know anything about Woven, they always reward their early holders and their collectors big time. And so just Woven, WOVVEN.app is where you'll go to mint. And so big fan of them, big supporter of what's happening there. And that's by Craze Degen. It's his first project, so he's part of the Woven community and team, and so definitely cool to support somebody with their first project. In addition to that, we've got some big news, like I said, coming out soon about the Doodle Llamas. Holy crap! What is he doing now? What kind of yard work is happening?
He's got a chainsaw cutting a tree down or something.
You guys mind? We got 8 people watching us on YouTube right now. Chill out. Chill out.
It's actually 20 concurrent viewers.
Hey, my mom's watching on 3 screens. All right. We have so many free mints coming out. We have all these like burn to create. So Beans on Acid, you're going to burn to be able to get one of his 300 101s. We have Evil Beans where you're going to be able to burn very quickly. We're going to be working on this, like finishing up the project in the next day or two, where you'll be able to burn a certain amount of Evil Beans to create one of this new collection. I think there's only 200 in the new collection. So chill, dude. I'm trying to talk to my friends on the internet. So no respect. No respect for the NFT world. Hey, keep that mower in Web 3, bro. Keep it on Web 3. I give up, man. You all talk. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I think that's huge because there's the Evil family coming up as well, and so that's obviously a big deal. I mean, obviously we hit the Swole Chads, we got Cream Out, we have the Bit Killers. Danetron's next edition is going to also be coming up. So yeah, man, a lot of huge stuff coming. Man, I really feel like like there's so much momentum moving right now. With us and with the space in general that I think that, especially once this next bull run, picks up, it's going to be huge. Oh yeah. And we do have the Beans community collection, which is going to be tomorrow, I believe, right? Voodoo, tomorrow we're doing the Beans community collection. And then the Beans song by Illuminati Congo will be launching at the same time as well. So that's going to be pretty awesome as well. But
Yeah, that's a really tight supply. What, it's like 139 pieces in the community collection?
it's 142 pieces in the community collection. And then there's 75 of the Illuminati Congo Beans track. However, anybody that holds the golden record, the royalty pass, is going to get an airdrop, and there's 26 of those right now. So really, there's going to be 49 songs available. So that's going to go real fast.
Nice. Couple things that I got to mention before we leave here. I did notice there's a couple free mints happening on Campfire today. There's one called Pirate Bay and another called D's Nuts. I do go check out the Campfire minting page because they got countdowns going on them. I noticed today that the Phantom Survivor mint is live on the AVAX side. So we've got an awesome partnership with them now. There's going to be a ton of cool Potluck NFT utilities coming in game. We're on Twitter this weekend saying that they had a great weekend playing this game, managed to work their way up the leaderboard, got 4th place, and won 75 Phantom, which, a couple months ago, that was that's like 100 or that's over $200 a couple months ago for playing a game over a weekend with the boy. So yeah, they're minting on both the Phantom side and the AVAX side. Highly recommend getting a character because we're going to be doing a ton of stuff in that game.
Oh, so little alpha on Campfire. I got off the call with Moonbags earlier, and I was telling him, I was like, hey, I know you guys are working on tons of updates. You're always working on making things better. I was like, but the number one thing for me personally, and that I hear from a lot of people, is it would be really nice whenever you're looking at any collection to have the same feature that like NFT Key does, where you can just toggle between my NFTs and the collection. So if I'm on Beans on Acid, I can just toggle my NFTs and it shows. And he goes, oh, really? People want that? And I was like, yeah, people want that. He goes, oh, I'll have that up today. So probably the biggest user experience improvement is going to happen today. And don't thank me. I'm just the messenger. Okay. We told him and made it happen. Okay. I was like, I don't know if that's hard or anything. He's like, oh, no, it's super easy. If people want that, man, we'll get that done today. So yeah, really excited because that makes it so much easier to navigate, to sell, to find yours to list. It makes things so much easier. So very excited about that. And NFT Key
it's been amazing to watch these marketplaces push each other.
Yeah, like
they're all improving so fast.
Yeah, NFT Key is like they're just so simple and make everything so easy. And it's kind of like reminds me of the iPhone because it's simpler. But then you have other people who want more features and more things, and that's where you like go for Android. And so yeah, I think it is awesome. It's awesome to see how NFT Key implemented where you can toggle back and forth between like a still image and then in one click and then like an interactive NFT. There's a lot of cool things that they're doing on the music stuff. They made it nice. So it is really nice to see. I know we have a partnership with Campfire and I love them, but it's also really nice to see with NFT Key because they've been such a big part of our success,
Yeah. No, it's been amazing. And then I got to shout out Slothtopia because it's been so much fun. I've been starting to put together my condo in the Slothtopia metaverse. What he's doing over there is just incredible. And then now that we know, some of the developers behind Slothtopia, like knowing that Liam is behind a lot of this stuff is just super bullish. Yeah, I couldn't say enough about Slothtopia.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much alpha. There's so many projects, so much good stuff. But what I would ask is if you're in our community and you know anyone who likes to mint on ETH, who's ever minted on ETH, is get them on our early access pass. Tell them, send them into my DMs. We'll get them as a part of the community because, yes, we want our community going there to support. That's awesome. And that will help it be successful. But our goal is to bring value to our community as well, which only happens by bringing in the new users into the Potluck family. And I think that this is just such a great project to do that with. So high quality, so much work went into it. And yeah, just it's such a great way to introduce Potluck to the ETH world. So very excited about Friday. We'll do a mint party and everything, just like always before the pre-sale. So get all those details out. But yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else. There's so much we could talk about, but I think that's pretty good.
Yep, love it.
All right.
Perfect.
Thanks for having me back this week. I know after having someone mow the lawn 2 feet away from me during the show, I'll probably be kicked off again. So it's been nice being back. We'll see you guys on the Discord or whatever you guys allow me to do.
Yeah, love it. NFT
All right.
Alpha.
We're out.